यस्यान्तन्नादिमध्यं न हि करचरणं नाम गोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णा न भवति पुरुषो नानपुंसं न च स्त्री नाकारं नो विकारं न हि जनिमरणं नास्ति पुण्यं न पापं तत्त्वं नो तत्त्वमेकं सहजसमरसं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्म तत्त्वं विभानम् परिशिष्टान्ते वसदृशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिपीडे वेदान्तार्थविभासकार्यतये शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादिनगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिगां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने अपारसच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्विमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हरिचिन्तयामि योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचन्नां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम् मातामहो मातरं च पितरं च पितामहो मातुलं च गुरून् सर्वान् वन्देऽहं ज्ञानसिद्धये पीताम्बरं करविराजितशङ्खचक्रकौमोदकीसरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायमतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशमनिशं हृदि भावयामि गोपिकाजीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द जानकीकान्तस्मरणं जय जय राम राम हर नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव We have been experiencing the Anugraha of Bhagavan Guruvayurappan Narayaneeyam. In this world, there are various kinds of relationships. Every contact that we have with a different person is termed as a relationship because we have a relation with them. Rather, it might be with different features also. But within human relations, there is the relationship of parents towards their children, which is called as Vatsalya Bhava. There is the emotion of being a child to the parents. And that is the relationship between husband and wife. And then there is this most wonderful relationship of friendship, where you develop a close contact with someone who is not related by blood, but your thoughts align, your goals align, your activities are aligned. So many things come together that friendship is one of the most beautiful relationships. That which cannot be probably shared within family is shared within friends. And finding lifelong friends is a great anugraha in itself. The support system that one has. In our Itihasa and Puranas, there are various ideals for friendship. of how friends can be the support system for each other, how they can help each other. Of that, from the Mahabharata, we have Arjuna and Krishna as the ideal for friendship. A lot of people think that Duryodhana and Karna are the ideal for friendship. And it has been popularized by various narratives and the movie culture also around it. But the friendship of Duryodhana and Karna is not an ideal for friendship. It is rather an opposite of that. It is probably, to put it in very bad words, an ideal of toxic friendship. The friendship itself was formed not on the basis of something that both of them are aligned or they both were together for a long time. But the motive itself behind the friendship was selfishness from Duryodhana's perspective. When he befriended Karna, they had nobody to stand in front of Arjuna. None of the Kauravas could match Arjuna's skill. And this upstart, who boasted to have equal skills as Arjuna, was scooped up by Duryodhana. He found an opportunity, and for his own selfish gains, he extended a hand of friendship. And even there, he almost did a business-like transaction. He said, I will crown you the king of Anga. So I am giving you this kingdom, and I am giving you a stature of respect, so that I have someone who can oppose Arjuna. This is how he bought the friendship of Karna. Karna, from his own stance, he felt that he was indebted to Duryodhana for this kind of a rise in stature. And he always gave this support to Duryodhana in all of Duryodhana's nefarious activities. As a good friend, if one does not walk on the path of dharma, you should advise them that it is wrong. Or at the very least, you should not be supporting them. You could say, you do not have my support. If you want, you can go on this and do it alone. But all through Duryodhana's activities, Karna stands almost like a backbone. Duryodhana knows that if anything goes wrong, and if worse comes to worse, then he has Karna to fall back upon. Karna's strength is his strength. He does not trust Bhishma, he does not trust Drona, he knows they all are for the Pandavas. Even though they might fight for him, they have a soft corner for Pandavas. He cannot even trust his own father, who might have a flimsy mind every now and then. And he can probably fight with Bhima, but he himself cannot fight with Arjuna. But in the case of Karna, he knows that Karna will always stay with him somewhat. So that is the kind of opinion that Karna created for himself. So Duryodhana has the upper hand in that relationship. Karna cannot put his foot down and say, I will not be a part of this. He could have said, I will not be a part of this dice game. Though he says, I do not agree with you on the burning of the lakh house or a few other things, he still supports them. He goes along with Duryodhana to trouble the Pandavas in the forest. He goes along with him again to Viratadesha to fight a war. And in so many other places, he gives his support. So in that relationship of friendship, Duryodhana has the upper hand, and he is taking full advantage of what Karna has to offer him. So that is not an ideal friendship. From Karna's perspective, because he was in debt, he thought that was his dharma, he stuck to his dharma. That way he was very disciplined. But nevertheless, it is surely not an ideal friendship. An ideal friendship would be between Arjuna and Krishna, where whenever Arjuna goes down the wrong path, Krishna maybe berates him, who tell him in nice words and helps him in circumstances when he has difficulties. And both of them do so many things together. They are always in each other's company. Such is their close friendship. They do not want to move away from each other. That is the kind of friendship that they have. Sakheti matva prasabham yaduktam he Krishna he Yadava he Sakheti, says Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita when the Lord shows the Vishwarupa. I thought you were my close friend. And I have called you with so many names. Sakha, Yadava, so and all I have called you. We have slept on the same bed together. We have roamed around the forest together. We have fought Indra together. We have helped Agni together. We have travelled across Bharatavarsha together. That is how close their friendship was. That is one ideal. The other ideal from Ramayana is Rama and Sugriva. When Rama enters the forest searching for Sita, after a lot of communication, he knows that he has to approach Sugriva. So the question arises, why did he approach Sugriva? He could have rather approached Vali. Vali was much stronger and he was the incumbent king. And he was known to have defeated Ravana previously. He is a sure shot winner against Ravana. So why should Rama approach Sugriva and then take the pain of killing Vali and then installing him as king and then go? So for this, there is a beautiful shloka in the Ramayana itself which gives us this idea. Vali, even though he is very strong, he is not a good companion. If Rama had approached Vali, maybe Vali would have said, Ravana is my friend also, so I need not do this for you. And he is not on the path of dharma. He has kept to himself his own younger brother's wife, so it is not befitting of Rama to approach him. Also, another very intrinsic quality of Sugriva, for which Rama approaches Sugriva, is revealed when Tara advises Vali. Tara is advising Vali when Vali is going out to fight with Sugriva. Sugriva has approached the second time to fight Vali. First time he was beaten and he is gone back. Second time he is approaching again. That time Tara cautions Vali. She says, there is something. He has some support. That is why he has returned again to fight with you after having taken a beating. So give him some respect. Treat him like your brother. Just give him some amount of wealth and keep him here. He is a great companion. Tam bandhum pashyami anyam kanchana bhutale na samaha, she says. There is no other bandhu equal to him in the whole world. So she sees that quality in Sugriva, that once Sugriva accepts a friendship, once he has a deep relationship with a person, he will never go back. So before he had friendship with Rama, that is, he did not completely trust Rama in the beginning, like Hanuman did. He had various tests for him. He said, kick this skeleton, bore holes through that 7 trees. Later, when his trust was completely placed, after that there is no going back. The amount of things he does for Rama is inconceivable. He has the whole Rajya for himself. Now it is under his control to send all the Vanaras across the earth to search for Sita. Then when he goes to Lanka, he himself, with so much, that is his deep relationship with Rama, that he jumps from Tributa Parvata to fight with Ravana. He himself jumps and he has one-on-one duel with Ravana. That is the close friendship he has. And when Rama and Lakshmana has fallen down because of Indrajit's Ayudha, again he tells Rama, I will take care. Even if you are not able to fight, I will, along with Ravana, I will kill everyone and I will get Sita back for you. Such is his friendship. Once he has kept it there, he will not come back. So Tara has understood this feeling within Sugriva. So that is why she tells Vali, If you can have friendship with him, there is no other friend that is equal to him in the world. Nanyam pashyami bhutale, she says. No other person in this universe who can be so close with you and you both together will be so strong. The advisors say, but it was Vari's destiny that he had to attain his mukti then. But that is why Rama chose Sugriva. The friendship between Rama and Sugriva is one of an ideal friendship. Similarly, in Bhagavata, we have an ideal friendship, the one between Krishna and Sudama. The two previous examples that we saw, they were always together. Rama and Sugriva were together for a long time. Since they were both kings, they could have met each other whenever they wanted. Similarly, with Krishna and Arjuna. But here, it is a friendship of two varying degrees. There, both of them are in the same stature, the same social class, the same economic class. Here, it is very different. Dashaka 87 of Narayaneeyam. Uchelanama bhavatasya dirthyatam gatasya sandeepanimandire dvijaha tvadeka ragena dhana dinispruho dinani nidnye prashami grihashrami. Uchelanama. This Brahmana named Kuchela, he was Krishna's colleague, you should say co-disciple, Satirthyata, when they were studying in Sandipani's Gurukula. Krishna himself stayed there for about 2 months or probably 3 months, 64 days, he learned 64 arts. So during that time, a friendship was formed with Kuchela. Because he had extreme attachment towards he was completely devoted to Krishna. He had no attachment for external wealth. Always engaged in devotion. He was engaged in Atma Vichara. He was a Brahmavit. Dinadinye prashami grihashrami. Even though he was a grihastha, he was a prashami. All his senses were under his own control. And therefore, he did not feel, he did not have the urge to go out and learn for himself. Shuka, in his original words also, he says, Krishtasya sit sakhardaschit brahmano brahmavittamaha. He was a brahmavittamaha. Among those who know the Brahman, he was supreme among them. He was a jnani. So he had no necessity for the worldly things. Because of his prarabdha, he had come into Grihastha-ashrama. Still, he just stayed in that Atma Rama Sthiti. In the own bliss of his own self, he was happy. His wife was also almost like him. She also had great control of her senses. But even then, she could not have the same kind of victory over her mind. Pattatri says, Samana Shila Pitadiya Vallabha Tathaiva no Chitta Jayam Sameyushi Kadachi Duche Batavritti Labdhage Ramapati Kinna Sakha Nishevyate. Samana Shilapi, even though his own wife was equivalent in character, just like him. And mostly, she did not complain. She was happy, satisfied with whatever they had. But still, to run a house, they need something. And she did not have that amount of dhiratva. Chitta jayam na sameyushi. She did not have that victory over the mind. So she is far ahead of all of us. But nevertheless, what does she ask? Ramapatihi. Your friend, isn't he the Lord of Lakshmi himself? And he is now in Dwaraka. Why don't you go and ask him for something so that we have our basic subsistence? Vritti labdhagi. For our subsistence, whatever we require to live. Not that we want a big palace. For us, whatever is necessary, that you can go ask him. There is no mistake in going and ask him. Inna sakha nishevyate. She advises Sudama. Sudama, even though he has been separated from Krishna for so long, but still he does not have that dukkha of separation. We saw the evolution of gopis. This Kuchela is already a Brahmavittama. He is Atma Swarupa by himself. So that dukkha of separation is not there within him. He himself is that Brahma Swarupa. But even then, when she says you go see him, he is extremely elated. That joy of seeing Bhagavan, it arises within him. Iti ritoyam piyaya shubhartaya, by his beloved wife, who was overcome with pangs of hunger. They did not even have enough food at home to eat. Therefore, she was Shudhartha, was feeling the pangs of hunger. She told him this. Jugupsamano vidhane madavahe. Even though he had a disgust towards wealth, having wealth leads to pride, leads to illusion that you have enough. In a minute, everything can go. In those days, it might have been natural disasters or something. You have a lot of gold or you have a lot of cash. You don't know when somebody will come and thieve it away. Robbers might be there. If you are traveling waylaying, or if you some fire, something might get destroyed. These were the things in those days. Nowadays, we think it is very safe in our bank deposit. Only cyber crimes on the rise. The thief can immediately steal anything. Any amount of money they can steal if they get into it. So that dhana, when it comes, there is a mada. You think that you have everything. But the more and more dhana comes, more and more you fear for your own self. More and more security is necessary. The amount of money that is spent on security itself is a lot to secure the money. So that dhana induces a mada. He thinks he is greater than everyone. There is a Subhashita which says, Yasyasti vittam sanarah purinaha sapandita sashrutavan gunanyaha saeva bhakta sachadarshaniyaha sarve guna kanchanamashrayanti. One who has money, he is the greatest in this world. That is how the current scenario is. He is well born. He has a great lineage. Sa purinaha, sa panditaha. Whatever he says is the word of the Shastras. Sa Shrutavan, he has read everything. He is the most learned person. Gunajnaha, and he can find out the faults and qualities in a person. And he is the one who, if he speaks, everybody is listening, pin drop. And he has to be seen by everyone. Sachadarshaniyaha, all the qualities go and they are taking the shelter of this money. Artha. There, a Brahmavittama will have absolute nisprit. That is why people who take sannyasa, they do not even touch money. Because that is not necessary for living this world in nature. Except humans, no other being is caring for money. We have created an artificial mode of transaction. And we have so much ignorance regarding that. So this is what is called Maya. It is something that is completely imagined. A piece of paper has no value. But because everybody imagines that that piece of paper has value, it has been given value. Now there is no piece of paper also. It is some bits and electronic things sitting inside some device somewhere. And it is showing you numbers. And we think that that is the money that we have. So that is madavaha. It creates a sense of security, a sense of illusion, a sense of pride. That is why a Brahmavittama has no interest in that. Jugupsamano vidhane madavahe tadatva dalokanakautukadyayu. But even though he had no interest in money, he had a great enthusiasm in meeting Krishna. And immediately he wanted to meet him. As soon as he was reminded by his wife, Vahan Patande Pathuganupayanam. They had hardly anything to eat. So his wife went to 4 houses close by. She bought some, what we call as pruchuka, some flattened rice. That is what she gave him. And in a small cloth piece, he just tied it up, kept it in his hip, and he walked towards Dwaraka. Gatoyam ascharyamayim bhavatpurim griheshu shaibya bhavanam samegivane. He went to that surprising city of Dwaraka. Why surprising? Because Vishwakarma has built that city. It has its own unique architecture. On top of that, Krishna has 16,008 wives, and for each of them there is a separate house there. Each of them has a separate apartment. When Kuchela arrives, he does not know which apartment is whose. Probably somebody showed him that it's the apartments of Krishna, and he entered some house. He does not know which Krishna he is going to meet there out of 16,000 Krishnas. So Bhattatri says here that he entered the house of a wife called Shaibya. In Bhagavata, this is not there. So Bhattatri gets his sources from various places. As we said, there are some differences. He gives us extra information here. So he entered that house of Shaibya. Shaibya is Mitravinda, one of Krishna's Ashtamahishis. Mitravinda we saw. So he enters her house. Shaibya bhavanam pravyasame jivane pravishya vaikuntamiva vanirvritim. He had he felt so elated as if he had entered Vaikuntha itself. Tavati sambhavanaya tugim punaha. And Bhagavan, who was there, he welcomed Kuchela so cordially. Even though it had been so many years since both of them had met, that friendship had not reduced one bit. That is an ideal friendship. Even though so many years have passed with the bridge, you just continue as if you just knew them yesterday, as if you spoke to them yesterday, or you have been speaking to them every day. That is the kind of relationship Bhagavan had with Kuchela. Prabhujitam tam prigya chavijitam kare grihitva kathayah puragritam yadindhanartham gurudara joditaihi apartu varsham padavarshikanane. So well, he is a Brahmana. So Krishna worships him. He brings him inside. He gives Arghya, Padya. He washes his feet. And Rukmini is standing right there. Rukmini is his main Manishi. So he asks her to come to Mitravinda's house. And Rukmini is standing there and fanning Sudama. Priyacha Vijitam. And he takes Sudama's hand in his own hand and starts speaking to him. So beautifully they speak. It shows how one should speak to other, how one should keep family close together, how communication should happen. Akathayaha purakrutam. Whatever happened previously, they start talking about old stories as old friends would. And what is the incident they remember? When their Guru Mata, Sandipani's wife, once upon a time, she had told them to go get some firewood to cook. So both these fellows had gone to the forest to pick up firewood. And that was not the season of monsoon, but suddenly it started pouring. Apartu Varisham. The Ritu was not Varisha Ritu, but some of the Ritu suddenly started pouring. So both of them could not come back. Both of them got on some tree. They stayed there the whole night. And then Sandipani, Balarama and everybody else had to come searching for them. And then they all went back home. So this incident, they spoke to each other. They reminisced about their old times. Tadamarishikananem Trapajusosmat Pratsutam Baladhatha Pragrihya Mushto Sakrada Shitetvaya. So after having reminisced and thought about this, finally Bhagavan asked, what have you got for me? You have come from so far away. Have you got me any gift? He was very shy. Trapajushaha. Extremely shy. Bhagavan is living in such a great palace which has no equal. And I have got some flattened rice with me. How can I give this to him? So he did not want to give. Baladata Pragritya. Krishna saw this. He snatched it from him. He snatched the cloth bag and one mushti, that is one fist of rice, he just took and he put it in his mouth. Sakrida shite tvaya kridam nandiyate sambhramate rama giro karam durodhate. And he was about to have the second fist where Sambhrama, Rukmini rushed there and almost with kind of consternation, she just blocked him. With an enthusiasm, she said, no, you cannot have one more. So some of us, if they have some chronic diseases like diabetes, you have one sweet, you cannot have a second sweet. And your spouse will block you from having it. So like that, this was just flattened rice. Rama, she herself comes, came and held Krishna's hand. She did not allow him to have the second fist of flattened rice also. Why? Because she says, this is enough. This is more than enough. That is a conversation only they both know. If you have this much itself, I have to give him so much wealth. Shri Lakshmi herself is saying, if you have more, I do not have that much amount of wealth to give it to him. Kritam kritam nandiyate disambhramat. Enough, enough. It is done more than enough. More than enough. This is more than enough. That is what she is saying. Karam durodhate bhakteshu bhaktena sa anitastvaya purim vasanneka nisham mahasukam vatavaridyur dravinam dinayiyu vichitra rupastava kalvanugraha. After having spent some time and that whole day and that night also, Sudama slept there only. I think being honored by Krishna like this, very happily he resided in Bhagavan's palace and that whole city. Probably Bhagavan showed him around the city also. And next day he happily went back. Bhattatri says, Bhata, oh, what is this? He happily went back without having asked for money. His wife has instructed him that you go there and ask for something and come back. But without having asked for anything, Dravinam Vinayayo, and she has asked only for very less. Whatever is necessary for a subsistence, you get from him. So Krishna could have given him some gold and sent him back on his way. That would have been enough for his subsistence. Bhattatri says, Vichitra Rupastava Kalvanugraha. Bhagavan knows why he has come. Bhagavan himself, just like he snatched the bag of fragrant rice, he could have told him that I know why you have come, let me give you something, or let me send a few things with you, let me send a chariot full of wealth with you. And he didn't do anything. Bhagavan's anugraha itself comes in various forms. We cannot understand in what form it would come. And Sudama had no spurha, he had no attachment for money, so he could not get himself to ask for it. There is a similar incident with Vivekananda and Ramakrishna. Vivekananda, once his father had passed away, their family was left in poverty. They did not even have enough to eat. Very similar case. So he comes to Ramakrishna and he says, this is the case. What shall I do? Ramakrishna says, you go to Kali Mata and ask her. Ma Kali is there. You go and ask her. No. You only go ask her, you do not talk to her. Ramakrishna says, no, it is you. You go and ask. Vivekananda goes and stands in front of Ma Kali. He says, give me jnana, give me vairagya, give me bhakti. Let me not be affected by anything in this world. There are so many people who are suffering. All this he asks in front of her and he comes back. Then Ramakrishna asks him, what did you go and ask? Vivekananda says, this is what he did. Ramakrishna says, I asked you to ask for wealth for your family. You ask her, she will immediately grant. No, go again and ask. Again, Vivekananda goes there. Again, he asks for the same things. Give me jnana, bhakti, vairagya, give me guru bhakti. And he comes back. Again, Ramakrishna says, 3 times he goes back. He is not able to ask. When he goes there, he forgets all this. That is the status of Mahatmas. So they cannot ask for material benefits. After that, Ramakrishna tells him that you will never have to worry for basic necessities of life. You will have food to eat, you will have a roof over your head, and you will have clothes. Your family will not have to worry about it. And after that, Vivekananda is satisfied. Similarly, here Kuchela comes here. He has forgotten probably to ask for Dravina, to ask for wealth. He comes, he is happy seeing Krishna, he has had a great time, and he is going back now. While going back after going some, then he remembers that his wife had asked him to ask for this. Yadi hyayajishya madasya dachyudaha vadami bhagyam kimiti prajannaso. If only I had asked him, probably he would have given. But I could not bring myself to ask. So what shall I reply to my wife? She had sent me for this purpose. What will I go back and tell her? Kimiti prajannaso twadukti dhilas vitamagnadhi punaha. But all he was able to think was about the conversations he had with Krishna. Again and again he was reminiscing and remembering all about that. Punah kramat apashyate manidhi brahmalayam. As he was walking, he knows where his house is. When you know the place and you know the route, you just walk. Nowadays, we see our mobiles and we go to the right place. Even though we never look at the road. We probably go to the right place unless somebody comes ahead and we are there, we hit into them. Nevertheless, we go and reach. So Sudama, he is thinking about Krishna. He is always in that sthiti and he goes. He knows he is in the right route, but when he goes there, he sees a great palace there, very similar to what he saw in Krishna's place. So he suddenly got confused whether he went and took a U-turn and came back to Dwaraka again. Manidipram Alayam, huge palace filled with studded gems, and it looks out of place. In his own village, there is one huge palace. Kim Arga Vibram Shayiti Brahmanshanam Graham Pravishtas Sadadarshavallabham. For a moment, he was confused. Then he saw around everything else is his own village. It is not Dwarakapuri, but only this building, it seems like that. Then he enters that house, and then there his own wife greets him, and he sees her. He sees her decked in beautiful ornaments. Sakhi Paritam Manihe Mabhushitam. She was surrounded by a lot of attendants and friends, and everything, all the furniture there is studded with gems, and it is all made of gold. Then he understood Bhagavad Karuna. Oh, what great is this Karuna! How wonderful Bhagavan's compassion is. Who can describe it by words? Saratna Shalasu Vasanna Viswayam Samunnavad Bhakti Bharo Vritanjayo Tvameva Mapurita Bhakta Vanchitaha Marutpura Dhishaharasvamegadan. Now, even though he was residing in a gem-studded house filled with gold everywhere, Kuchela's devotion only grew more and more. It grew higher and higher. Now, previously he was doing Atma Puja, he was doing puja within his own manas. Now he could do puja with everything. He could have a vigraha of Krishna, he could do puja with flowers and phala and pushpa and everything that he wanted. He had everything to give to Bhagavan. So that way, his devotion grew more and more and he attained liberation. He was already a Jivan Mukta. He just attained the Videha Mukti when the time came. Oh Lord of Guruvayur said, chapter 3, Harasva me Gadane. One who wishes, one who fulfills the wishes of all the devotees like this, without even them having to ask, do please eradicate my ailments also. Dashaka 88. Prage Vacharya Putra Hritishamanaya Siyashatso Noviksham Kamshantya Madurupya Sudana Bhuvipalim Prapya Enarchitasvam Dhadushyapadhiranyan Vitakashipu Bhavane Shaurijan Kamsabhagnane Aninan Prakarshya Swapadamanayathaha Purvaputran Marichehe. Devaki, once upon a time, she had already heard previously that Krishna brought his guru's dead son back to life. Sandipani's son was brought back to life. Devaki knew this. So once she approached Krishna and asked him, before you and Balarama were born, I lost 6 children. As soon as they were born, because of Kamsa, can you bring them also back to life? I would like to see them once. Shviya Shat Sunu Viksham. She had a desire to see them. And because his mother ordered, Bhagavan went directly to Sutala. That is where they were all residing now. 6 children who had been killed by Kamsa, they are all gone to Sutala. Sutala is the words below. Atala, Vitala, Sutala. It is above Patala, it is below Bhutala. It is right in the middle. There, Sutala is being ruled over by Bali, who is also Bhagavan's devotee. So Bhagavan goes there and Bali cordially invites him inside. Ena Architaha, he was worshipped by Bali. In the next 2 lines, Bhattatri gives a huge backstory which was there to these 6 children. These 6 children were originally the sons of Marichi, the Prajapati Marichi, Purvaputran Marichehe. These 6 children, when Brahma was running behind Vani, we saw it in the 5th or 6th Dashakam, in the beginning of the discourses. They started laughing against Brahma, seeing his activities. Therefore, they were cursed by Brahma that you will be born as Suras. Next Janma, they were born as Suras in Hiranyakashipu's lineage. That's why Bhattacharya says, Hiranyanvita Kashipu Bhavan. Hiranyakashipu's son, one of his sons was Kalanemi. Kalanemi's 6 children were these 6 sons of Marichi. These 6 sons of Kalanemi, they worshipped Brahma in that Janma. They did some great tapas to Brahma. And Brahma came in front of them and they asked some boons from Brahma. Hiranyakashipu, their grandfather, became angry that without him knowing, they started worshipping Brahma for their own personal causes. And because of some fight between them, Hiranyakashipu cursed these 6 fellows that you will be born again and your father will be the cause of your death. So both of them, his own son and his grandchildren, both of them he has cursed in one go. That is why now they have been born as Devaki's children. And Kaladevi, his current Janma is Kamsa, and that is why they were all killed by Kamsa. This is the whole karma gati behind why they were born as Devaki's children and why they were killed by Kamsa immediately. So we saw that Kamsa is Kalanemi's Amsha, Vasana Kalanemehe, when he was killed. Hiranyanvita Kashipu Bhavan, Shauridane, Kamsa Bhagnan. They were killed by Kamsa. Swapadamanayapaha, Purvaputran Mariche. And then having brought them and shown them to Devaki, Krishna sent them to his own abode. They were all given liberation. This Dashaka has various stories. Shrutadeva Giti Shrutam Dvijendram Bahulashvan Nripatim Cha Bhakti Purnam Yugapatvam Anugrahitu Kamaha Mithilam Prapitha Tapasais Sametaha. Bhagavan once went to Mithila. We saw previously that Balarama went to Mithila when Bhagavan and Balarama had gone in search of Samantakamani. They went riding behind Shatadhanva. I think both of them leave Mithila, then he stayed there, Balarama stayed there. But now Bhagavan is returning back to Mithila because Shrutadeva, one who is a great, wealthy person, he is a Brahmana. Bahulashva was another Brahmana. So, 2 of them are great devotees of Sri Krishna. He wanted to bless both of them and both of them live in the city of Mithila. So, accompanied by a lot of sages, Bhagavan went there. Gachan vimurtirubhayo nugavaniketam ekena bhuri vibhavair vihito upacharaha anyena tattina bhutaischa palodanartihi tulyam praseditha dadatha chamuktimabhyam. So the Shrutadeva, who is a Brahmana, who hardly has any wealth, and Bahulashva, who is a king, both of them are on 2 different ends of the economic spectrum again. He assumed 2 forms. Bhagavan assumed 2 forms. Vimurti, Ubhayoho, Yugapatniketa. Together at the same time, he went to both their houses. One to the house of a king, the other to the house of a very poor Brahmana. Ekena Bhudi Vibhavihi. The king, Bahulashva, worships him with great wealth. Golden plate, he is giving food, different kinds of food that he has, all the various food that is there, filled of the level of a king. Sumptuous food is being given to Bhagavan, and he's sitting on a golden throne, and that is how he is being worshipped in Bahulashvas, the king's palace. Anyena Tardina Bhutaischa Palodanabjihi. The Brahmana's place, which is probably a hut, hardly anything around, not even a chair to sit down, he is sitting on the floor. And Shrutadeva has gone around, whatever he has got by alms for that day he gets something by alms, he has offered that to Krishna. Tulyam praseditha, with both you are equally satisfied. So one has to worship Bhagavan with whatever he has. We have to offer that to Bhagavan. It is not about offering great things. It is about offering up to our capacity. Whatever is your capacity, you offer everything unto Bhagavan. Tulyam praseditha dadatha chamuktimabhyam. Both were given liberation. Janardanaha bhavagrahi. He sees what is the emotion within you. What is that bhava within you. That devotion is what is important for him. So the devotion in both were extremely dridha. One, by his destiny, he has a lot of wealth, so he gives all that. The other, he is destined to be poor. Both of them give according to their status, and that bhavana is most important. And both of them were liberated. Next story. Bhuyo tadvaravatyan dvijatanayavritim tatpalabanapitvam kovadikam nirundhyadidikilagathayatne vishwavodhapyasodhaha jishnorgarbham vinetum vagi manujadhiya kunthitam chasya buddhim tatvarudham vidhatum paramatamapada prekshane neti manye. Again, once upon a time in Dwaraka, one Brahmana who was there in Dwaraka, he had many children, but every child died at childbirth itself. One after the other, they were dying. How many ever children he had, everybody was dying, and he was lamenting over it. He came to the doors of Krishna's palace and he shouted at Krishna, "This will happen only if the Raja is doing some adharma. Or if there is some adharma in the kingdom, only then such a thing can happen again and again, repeatedly. This is not due to anything else." So the Brahmana came and said that. But Krishna, he replied, "What can we do? It is all destiny. It is not in our hands." Even though he is the Lord of the whole universe, he also said, "Who can go against fate?" Ova Devam Kelunthya, he says. And he bore it. Whatever the Brahmana told against him, he was just bearing it. Vishwavodha, even though he is the bearer of the whole universe, he bore the words that Brahmana spoke against him. Why did he do this? Jishnoho Garvam Vinetum, to reduce the pride of Arjuna. Arjuna, even though he had Gita-upadesha, again and again, jivas are like this. We jivas, even though we have upadeshas, we might come into contact with great Mahatmas. When we lose that contact, we go back into the material. That is why we should constantly, every now and then, be in satsanga. Once we slip from that satsanga and go somewhere, again, everything else catches hold of us. All the sense objects come and catches hold of us. And all that ignorance, it veils us again. It puts the screen of Maya comes again. So that is how, even though he had Bhagavad Gita Upadesha, later he is going to have the Anugita Upadesha. This Upadesha has to come again and again from Krishna. And this is one of the times when Krishna has to remove that ego. That ego has to be removed from the root. Krishna, being a close friend of Arjuna, he is helping Arjuna on this path. Manujadhiya kunthitamta sebuddhim. Because Arjuna assumes himself to be a mere mortal, which is what we are all assuming. We all think this body, I am this man. This is the human being body that I have. We forget that Atma Swarupa or self, which is that Akhanda Swarupa, which is that infinite self, pure bliss, awareness, consciousness. We forget. And to make Arjuna realize that Buddhi, Tattvarudham Vidhatum, Paramatamapada, the greatest pada, to see it directly, you wanted to probably do this as Bhattati. Nashta ashtasya putraha punarapi tavadu upekshaya krishtavadaha spashto jato janana mathatadavasare varagamavavarthadaha. 8 sons of the Brahmanas died one after the other like this. Now people started talking about this. They said something is wrong. Krishna is still indifferent. And they all said it is a pity that this Brahmana is losing one son after the other. At this time, Arjuna somehow came to Dwaraka and he heard this talk going about in Dwaravati. And because he wanted to, because of his friendship with Krishna, he wanted to make Krishna happy. He said, "Let me help my friend Krishna. Maitriya tatro shitoso navama sudamratavu vipravarya prarodam shutva chakre pratignyam anuparita sutaha sannidekshye krishanam." Whenever he feels he will come to Dwaraka, and he was staying there, Tatra Ushitaha. So when the 9th child of the Brahmana also died, again the Brahmana came in from the palace and he started shouting. This time Arjuna was there, he listened to that. Vipravarya prarodam shutva. He heard this Brahmana crying out, wailing out loud, and he made a vow. He made a promise to the Brahmana saying, "If I do not get back all your sons, then I will enter the fire. I will stop. I will protect the next son that is going to be born to you, and I will bring back all other sons of yours. He says, if I do not do this, I will enter the fire. Vrishanu is fire. Mani sattva prashtva vijanilayagataha vanajalair mahastraihi Rundhana sutigeham punarapi sahasa vishtanaste kumare Mani sattva. He has the pride over his vidya that if I am able to protect, if I using my astras, I will be able to protect this place. So in that place where she is going to give birth, the labor room, the Suti Geha means the labor room wherever the woman is going to give birth. He stood outside there with his various arrows and divine weapons. He created some kind of a covering and a protective shield. He created. He blocked all the entries. And even then, the 10th child is going to be born. And this time, the child did not just die. The child's body itself disappeared altogether. There is no Sharira also remaining there. So from there, Drishta Nashte Kumare Yamya Maindrim Tathamyaha Suravara Nagarihi Vidyaya Sadhya Sadhyaha. With his own yogic prowess, Arjuna went to Indraloka, Yamaloka, other various Devalokas. He went. He has previously gone to Devaloka also. He knows how to travel there. So with that yogic power, he goes and he goes and asks there and got the dead child of his guru. Arjuna goes there also. There also these children are not to be found. Moghodyogaha is all this trial, whatever effort he is putting in, is becoming useless. Patishyanme Udapuji is all. He started a fire and he's almost going to fall into the fire. Avakasasmitam Barito Bhute. Krishna comes there smilingly and he says, do not do this. I will come. Let us both go and get the Brahmana children's back. Sartham Tenam Pradijim Dishamatijavina Syandanena Priyataha. Both of them sat on a very fast chariot and they moved westward. They went on moving westward and westward. Loka Lokam Vyatitas Timira Paramatho Chakrathamna Nirundhan. They even crossed the Loka mountain, and after that it was intense darkness. There, with the Sudarshana Chakra, Krishna made it very bright, and that's how they could move forward. Chakram Shuklishta Drishtim Sthidamata Vijayam Pashyapashye Jivaram Bharetvam Pradadarshaha Himapihi Tamasam Duraduram Padamte. So now that they could see that whole part because of the Sudarshana Chakra's light, that the effulgence that is coming out of it, after having gone very, very far, Krishna calls out to Arjuna, Vijayam, Vijaya, another name for Arjuna, Jishnu, Vijaya, all these are names for Arjuna. He calls out to Arjuna and says, see that, see there. Who is there? There you see. Across all the darkness, you see the greatest of lords lying on the serpent. Tatrasinam bhujanga dhivashayanatale divyabhusha yudhatkihi Amitam Itajelam Pratinavajaladashyamalam Srimadangam Murtina Vishidaram Paramihe Disrunamekamartham Shrudina Swame Vattam Paratman Priyasakasakito Nithak Shema Rupam. There lying on the coiled Ananta Shesha with all the various divine ornaments, all his paraphernalia like the Ayudhas, the Gada, Shankha, Padma and Chakra, and in a Pitambara. Pitambara is a golden yellow silk that he is wearing, and in contrast is his body's hue, which is like the dark cloud which is holding the full of water. Srimadangam with Lakshmi right there. Murtina Ishitaram, one who is the Lord of all the three Lords. He is the Lord of Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. Ekamartham Shrutina, one who is the goal of all the Vedas. O you Guru Ayappa, you as Krishna, you saw yourself in this form. Priyasaka Sakitaha, along with your close friend, Nimitha Kshema Rupam. You are that moksha itself, none other than thyself. You saw with your own eyes. Yuvam mame vadvavadhika vivrutantarhitadaya vibhinnau sandrashtum swayamahamarsham vijasudane. The Paramatma lying there on the serpent talks to both of them, talks to Krishna and Arjuna, and he says, you both are my own self only, you are not different. What is the difference between you both? One is adhika vivruta, other is antarhitataya. For one, the Maya has not had the Vikshepa Shakti, the Avarana Shakti is not there. That is, the Maya has not veiled it by ignorance. That whole Shakti is visible. For the other person, it has veiled it by ignorance. So one knows the Paramatma Tattva, the other is a Jiva. Adhika Vivrita Antarhitataya. In one place, divinity is well seen. The other place, it is obstructed, which is what it is with all of us. Our divine nature is obstructed because of ignorance. Because I wanted to see you both. I myself got the 10 children of that Dvija, that Brahmana. I myself had taken him away. Nagetam dragetan, take them away. Immediately you can take them away. Kalu vitirnan punaramune. So both of them, they took all the 10 children and they came and returned it to the Brahmana, who was extremely happy. All the time, Arjuna was overjoyed and he went on singing about the glory of Bhagavan. Evam nana viharayir jagadabhiramayatne vrishtivamsham prapushtanne ijano yajnabhedaihi adula vihritibihi vinayan nena netraha bhubhara kshepadambhate padakamalayusham mokshanaya vatirnaha purnam brahmaiva sakshat yadushu manujata rushitastvam vyalasihi. Like this, various things. Nana viharihi jagadabhiramayanne. So many leelas of Vyasa and Krishnavtara and Vrishtivamsham Prapushnan. So this whole Vrishti lineage, you increased it more and more. From each of his wife, Bhagavata says that Krishna had 10 sons. Like that, the whole of Vrishtivamsha increased in population because of you. Ijano yajnabhedaihi. Whatever grihastha karmas, smarta shrauta karmas are there, so many yajnas you performed. Adula vihritibihi prinayan nena netraha. All your wives, they were delighted by you with so many sportive activities. You enjoyed with them, you made them enjoy. Bhubhara kshepadambhate. With an excuse that you had to remove this bhubhara, you gave moksha to so many people. Whoever you killed got liberation. Whoever you removed got liberation. And so many other people came in contact with you. They all had Benadusha Mokshanaya Avatirnaha. For the sake of the liberation itself, you took this avatara. Purnam Brahmaiva Sakshat. That Purnam Brahman, that complete Brahman, in that Yadu Kuda, in the form of a human being, you were there. Pragena Dvaravatya Amritagitada Narada Svadrasadraha Tasman Lepe Kadajite Khalu Sukrudanidhi Tvapita Tatvabodham. Once upon a time, Narada came to this Dwaraka of yours, and Narada is always engrossed in your worship, and he wanted to meet you. He came there. He met with your father also, Vasudeva, who was also in Dwaraka. And Vasudeva is already a great Punyavanta. He has done so tapas in his previous life as Kashyapa and Agni. They have done tapas. That is why they are able to have Bhagavan Narayana as their child. That person, he is a Sukrita Nidhi. He is full of Punya. And that Punya Paka Paripaka Samaya has come. That Punya has to give fruit in the form of Jnana. So when Narada comes, Vasudeva prostrates to Narada, and from him he gets that Jnana. He receives that knowledge of reality from Narada. Tattva Bodham. Narada gives Upadesha to Vasudeva. This is all a part of that Ekadasha Skandha. So with the previous shloka, Dashama Skandha is complete. Now in this verse, is telling the whole of Ekadasha Skandha, what is happening as a story in a single verse. The Upadesha of Narada is how Ekadasha Skandha begins. And then it is Uddhava Gita, which Krishna recites to Uddhava. That is the next 2 lines of this verse. Bhaktanam agrajagi sachakalu matimane Uddhavastvattayeva prapto vijnanasaram sakila janahitaya gunaste bhagavyam. That foremost among bhaktas, Uddhava, Krishna calls him, you are so dear to me. You are the dearest. Krishna is giving the Upadesha of Uddhava. He looks around, he says, even Lakshmi is not as dear to me as you are to me. And he gives this Upadesha. So that is the Uddhava Gita, the greatest of Paramahamsa Gitas. If Arjuna Gita, Sriman Bhagavad Gita is for everyone in this world, Uddhava Gita is for Paramahamsa Sannyasis. Those who are Jnanis, for them, those who have that Adhikara to take the Gita, for them is that final Upadesha that Krishna gives to Uddhava. Matimane Uddhavastvattayeva. Because Uddhava was already a Matiman. He had that Adhikara to receive that knowledge from Bhagavan immediately. Prapto Vijnana Saram. He received that Sara, that summary of Vijnana from Krishna himself. And even now, Uddhava resides in Badarikashrama. For the sake of the goodness of the whole world, he is residing there. That is how Krishna completes his avatar karya after giving Upadesha to Uddhava. He says, Uddhava, you go to Badarikashrama, and Krishna goes to Prabhasa Kshetra and he gives up his body. Bhattatri does not say that Krishna gives up his body. He completes the Krishna avatara with this beautiful verse. Soyam Krishna avataraha jagati tava vibho yatra sauhardha bhiji sneha vesha nuraga pravriti bhiraturihi ashramai yoga bhedihi. That Krishna avatara, which is unequaled with any avatara, with any other form of Bhagavan, Jagati Tava Vibho, may it be victorious. He has that devotion towards Bhagavan. Says Jaya, Jayata Krishna Avataraha, Jayata Krishna Avataraha, in which Krishna Avatara, people attained mukti by various means. What are the various means? Sauharda, by means of friendship. Arjuna, Uddhava, all by means of friendship they attained. Bhiti, people like Kamsa, just by fear they attained. Sneha, because of attachment, some people attain. Because of love they attain, like Vasudeva and Devaki, they attained mukti because of love. Dvesha, some people who have only hatred towards you, like Shishupala, etc., had only hatreds. Anuraga, attachment like gopis. Prabhrativihi, these kind of yogas, this was never seen before. Sauhardha bhiti sneha dvesha nuraga prabhrativihi. These kind of yogas came to the forefront only due to Krishna avatara. We could see bhaktas like this and we could take the marga which most suited us. Atulaihi, ashramaihi, yoga bhedaihi. There is no equivalent to this Krishna avatara, and all these yogas are ashrama. There is no effort to put in them because you have to choose the yoga which is effortless for you. Whatever constitutes your adhikaratva, whatever constitutes which fits you, you choose your yoga, it becomes ashrama. Whatever you are doing, your swakarma is to be given to Bhagavan. Everything is for Bhagavan. If you say, if you have that idea towards Bhagavan, then it becomes ashrama. There is no extra effort to be put into that. They are easily attained liberation. Artim tirtva samastam amrita padam aguhu. Crossing over the samsara arti, this ocean of samsara, they all attain liberation. Amrita padam, that pada from where there is no death, there is no fear of death, that abhaya, no fear. Sarvataha sarvalokaha Sattvam Vishwarti Shanti. For the sake of Shanti in this whole universe, Pavana Purapate Bhakti Buddhi Chahuyaha. And for this, to give us bhakti, to fill us with bhakti, We should be dripping with bhakti from every nerve, every cell. We should be dripping with bhakti. Bhakti purti cha bhuyaha. Give us perfect devotion to you, O Guru Vairappa. Praise Bhattatri. And thus he ends the great Krishna Avatara, which he began in Dashakam number 37. This is how Bhattatri brings a closure to Krishna Avatara, and Dashakam 89 and 90 deals with the greatness of Paramatma Narayana, and then on it continues to the Vedanta from Dashakam 91, which we will see in the following weeks. Next week we will not be having a discourse, we will have it the week after that. We will end today's discourse with this last verse again. Soyam Krishna Avatara Jagati Tava Vibho Yatra Sauhardha Bhiti Sneha Dvesha Nuraga Prakriti Viratulaihi Ashramai Yoga Bhedaihi Artim Tirtva Samastam Amritavadamagu Sarvatas Sarvalokaha Sattvam Vishwarti Shanti Pavanapurapate Bhakti Purti Cha Bhuyaha Krishna Avatara Jagati Govika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jaya Jaya Rama Rama Hara Namah Parvati Padage Hara Hara Mahadeva Tomamatma Bhavasittumeva Gato Navachyam Mama Kinchidasti Yatha Taveshtam Kurumam Tathi Vadvamahatmanasam Maramanam Bhajan